Okay, so thought we'd make a little chocolate torte, flourless, gluten-free. I've had some requests for it online, so we're going to do that. We just finished making some caramel. This would be a good sauce under this, so the caramel would be a great sauce under the torte, chocolate torte. So we're going to start. This is very easy, and let me tell you something. You serve this to your friends, you're going to look like a gourmet chef. It's such a great dessert, so easy. You'll have everybody fooled like me. So we're going to start with 10 ounces of butter that I have cut just to melt. So we're going to melt that butter. We're going to come back and add some chocolate to that. So we'll let that melt. I just want you to see it, and then we'll come back. Okay, so the butter is melted, and I don't want that butter. I just want it melted. I don't want it any hotter than that. And so now I'm going to do 2 cups of semi-sweet. I use Hershey's chocolate chips, just the standard chocolate chips, semi-sweet. You put those in, and we're just going to whisk that around till they melt. It only takes a second or 2. They're getting all melty. I'm gonna go ahead and just cut the heat off. We don't need it. They're gonna melt. I'm being gentle because I don't want to slosh this out. But you want to make sure that this is mixed pretty well. Okay, I'm just going to dump this in the mixing bowl. I'm going to mix it a little bit more in the mixing bowl. I've got a little more room. Sorry, I'm kind of blocking the shot a little bit. So we'll just mix that up in here, like that. Now from here, you can use a stand mixer for this, but it's relatively easy work. So I'm not going to fool with pulling it out. I'm going to add 1.5 cups of just sugar. And just kind of mix that around. That's my 1/2 cup, so that's 1.5 cups of sugar. All right, that's in there. Now, we're going to add eggs. Left-handed, no less. This should be fun. 1 at a time. And just keep whipping. You don't want that egg to cook in there like that. You just want to keep moving it. I think I'll do that right there. Oops, I got a little shelly shell. Let me just get it out. And we're just going to add those eggs 1 at a time until I've added 7 eggs. And I want to whip it pretty good. You're going to notice it's going to start changing colors a little bit. And no doubt this is where an electric stand mixer would come in handy, but I just didn't want to fool with it tonight. So that's 2, 3. I hope. I may have lost count. I think that was 4. I'm getting a signal from the cameraman. That was 4. Thank you. Number 8. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. That's number 5. Okay, number 5. Number 6. I know. I didn't say it was really good for you. I just sort of making chocolate torte. So, flourless. We had this discussion a minute ago. Flourless makes it sound like it's going to be good for you. It's not. I'm sure. So now you can start to see the consistency of it change a little bit. We got 1 more egg to go. It's getting fat and ribbony like. So here's the last egg. And it's really starting to change when you get to egg number 5, 6, and 7. All right, from here, it's starting to wear me out. Almond extract. What I use, if you want a little orange flavor. You can do a little orange, we'll do a little almond, probably a teaspoon, and then for my trusty vanilla bank, a little vanilla, about the same. We're gonna whip that in. All right, I'm gonna show you how to prepare the pan here in a minute, and we'll bake it out. We'll be back. Okay, so to start, you need a springform pan for this. This is a 10-inch springform pan, which seems to work well for this, a 10-inch. So I've got it apart, and what I'm doing is I've got some parchment paper down. I'm just tracing a circle around the bottom of the pan because I'm gonna line the bottom of the pan with the parchment paper. Now the easiest way I found to cut this is just line up those two lines. You can see through the parchment paper. And what I like to do, so that it fits the pan really well, is I cut on the inside of that line just a pinch, less than a 1/4 inch inside that line. And then once I get this cut, we're gonna line the pan with sugar, and we're gonna spray it with vegetable oil and line the pan with sugar to keep it from sticking. Pour our batter in there and go straight to the oven with it. 350 degrees, 30 to 35 minutes. You won't hurt it, I don't think, if you cook it 35 minutes. I'd almost rather you cook it 35 minutes to make sure that it's done. And we'll talk a little bit more about that in a minute. So I'm gonna put my springform pan together, maybe. I had a little temper tantrum with this the other day and I bent it. So it was a little bit out of shape. I know it's hard to believe I would do something like that. As sweet and gentle as I am. So, vegetable oil, spray, Pam, a little bit of sugar. And I'm just gonna spread that around like that. You wanna coat it. Serves two purposes. It's gonna make a nice crisp edge on this tart, and it's gonna help keep it from sticking. We're gonna take the excess sugar, step over the bow, throw it in the trash, come back, line our pan with our perfectly cut piece of parchment. And from here, you can see that's all nice and ribbony. We're just gonna pour that right in. Make sure you get all of it out. You want to see why I had a fit with it the other day? That's what I'm talking about. Temper tantrum. We'll just make it and see. Going in the oven right now. Somebody bent the shit out of this. Okay, so we've been baking about 35 minutes. I checked it at about 30 minutes and it still needed a few more minutes, so we're gonna pull it and check it. And what I'm looking for, I think we're gonna be good here, is a little resistance when I push down on it, but I don't want it sinking down. So it looks pretty good. Now what we're gonna do, you know, it's kind of something you have to learn to look for. It's sort of hard to overcook these things. So if you're not sure, let it go an extra 5 minutes, 10 minutes, whatever you think. But we're gonna let this cool off, and when it cools off, it's gonna settle. It's not gonna be this high, so it's gonna be about that thick. So we're gonna let it cool off, then we're gonna make a chocolate ganache to pour across it and even it up, and that's it. So we'll be back with the chocolate ganache in a little bit. So we're gonna make the ganache now. As you can see, I've let this cool off. I just put a fan on it for a few minutes, and see how it kind of sinks down this little concave. So the ganache serves a couple of purposes. One is to level that up, and two is it certainly adds chocolate flavor to it. So it's gonna make it look a little pretty. So I'm gonna start out with 1 cup of cream, and you need to use heavy cream for this. So we're just gonna let that come up to a boil, or get very hot. As soon as it comes to a boil, we're going to add 2 cups of chocolate chips. Again, semi-sweet chocolate chips. That's the ganache. That's it. we'll let this get hot and we'll come right back. Okay, so our cream is almost to a boil. It's certainly hot enough to, I think, melt chocolate, which is really what we need. So 1 cup of heavy cream, 2 cups of semi-sweet chocolate chips. Just pour those in. Give them a second to melt. And just give them a little stir. Wait, turn that off. So we're just incorporating that cream and that chocolate together. And that cream softens that chocolate a little bit once it refrigerates. So you can see what we're getting now. It's starting to come together. And it is pourable. So we are just basically going to use this to level up. We're just going to pour that on there like that. Let's get it all out because we'll need every bit of it for this. And what I like to do is just kind of work it around. A lot of times I'll go ahead and work it to the edge. Doesn't have to go all the way to the edge, but if you've got enough, work it out there to the edge. Got a little edge right there to cover, a little edge over there to cover. And that's that. So it's going to go in the fridge now and get good and hardened up. I'll show you the presentation I do. I serve it with whipped cream and fresh fruits. It's great with a raspberry sauce under it. It would be very good with the caramel we made earlier tonight under it. But you know, cut strawberries, raspberries, blueberries, any kind of fruit like that with a little puddle of sauce or whipped cream would be fantastic with it. We'll see you with the plating. Okay, to unwrap this thing, you want to break open the springform pan. If it sticks anywhere on the side, a lot of times they just come right on. Just get you a paring knife and run that edge where it's sticking. And should be relatively good to go. You've got to ease them out sometimes. But that's it. We'll make the cut. I'll show you the presentation on the next clip. Thank you. Okay, another thing I like to do to get them to release from the bottom of this pan is just heat it for just a second. I mean, it doesn't take but a split second, and it'll slide right off the pan. So to serve this, we're just going to make a cut. I'm using a wet knife. I like to use a wet knife for the most part. Cut whatever size you want. Remember, this is rich. And when you're pulling your knife out, you know, block your fingers behind it. So you've got to be gentle with these things. That's it. And typically what I like to do is just some fresh whipped cream, some strawberries, and I'll usually garnish with some powdered sugar. That's it. Hope you make it. See you next time. Keep those comments coming.